He's the vice president of marketing and advertising with them. Very experienced guy, been in the industry for a number of years. I had the pleasure of meeting them not too long ago when him and our salesman came up and talked to us about some Rotary product in blades. And obviously we deal a lot with the Rotary blades, the Copperhead blades and the Vortex trimmer line and a bunch of their other products. Well, he was here and he had mentioned something about their Copperhead blades that I thought was interesting. There's a lot of talk in the industry about who makes the best blades, who's making what blades. You got guys like Corey Ballard's got his own blade sets. So thought it was interesting to get some inside information regarding the blades. So Chris, you want to discuss a little bit about your role at Rotary and kind of what you're up to?
Yes, Ed, thank you. I appreciate you letting me allow to be part of this. I've been with Rotary for 32 years, seen a lot of changes going on in the industry, but Rotary is a full-line supplier of outdoor power equipment parts, and we also are a manufacturer. So in that aspect, I handle the advertising and marketing for our company, which included the search and design concept of what we call our Copperhead brand products.
Yeah, nice. I mean, we've had great luck with the Copperhead blades. I think they're getting more popular in our world. Obviously we deal a lot with the OEMs and stuff, but the Copperhead blades have fit in real well. And then the quality seems to be there too. I guess, what would you say, if we're talking about Copperhead blades, what makes them stand out a little bit above, I guess, some of the other products that are out there?
Yeah, we are very proud of our, of course, when anything like a lawnmower blade does any cutting, it's turning at around 200 miles per hour. So the blade that actually cuts, you want that sharp and cutted edge. We have a precision cutting edge on our lawnmower blades. We've got increased durability, which extends the lifespan, and it's resilient to wear. When we talk about the steel, the product that we use to manufacture our blades, and the design concept that we have for Copperhead with the air lifts, it improves the airflow that's going on underneath the mower deck. That can also enhance the cutting performance.
Yeah.
Also, we have the versatility is we have a wide range of compatibility. Not only is it for residential, it's also for consumers, targeting both aspects of the marketplace that will utilize the lawnmower blade. We also are pretty proud of the mulching capabilities that we have, that the teeth that breaks that material down, the grass material down into finer shreds, which can be decomposed and, possibly used as fertilizer or nourishment to the grass.
I think a lot of guys in our would probably call them like a gator blade. And I know it's a term, but the guys definitely, that's a style blade that a lot of guys love right there.
Absolutely. And it's got, a cleaner, smoother cut. When you look at the finish, that's when your grass is prone to disease, is when it's not cutting, it's tearing. So you want that nice crisp cut to leave your yard nice and landscape beautifully. So, really that sharpened cutting edge is what we are pretty proud of.
One of the cool things you had mentioned, while you guys were here was the fact that blades are made in the USA. And that seems to be a big deal with a lot of folks this time. Where in the US do you guys have these things made?
We're right here at our corporate headquarters in Glenville, Georgia. We're a little small town, probably about an hour away west of Savannah, Georgia. We make them right next door at our blade manufacturing facility that manufactures 10 million lawnmowers of blades per year. So we're pretty confident. We stand behind our product. 2020, we produced our 250 millionth blade. So we know blades a little bit. We test them, we put them through the durability. Our proven success with the customers and their success with the blade relevant and the number of blades we've been selling.
Wow, that's incredible. It's always good to hear when some of these blades obviously kind of helped a little bit when the whole tariff thing was going on and have those made in the U.S. So, we didn't see many price increases coming from Rotary because of stuff like that. So, I think a lot of the landscapers, the end user appreciates that quite a bit, One of the things we always talk about, I guess, with blades is the heat treatment. Can you go over a little bit about what you guys do that's a little bit different in heat treatment process?
Absolutely. And our heat treating process is what we call austempering. When the steel is made at the mill, the internal structure of the molecular structure are not uniform inside that steel. So this makes the material easier to form and shape, which at that process, we're putting it through our presses to stamp out the blades. This also means that it's not resilient to wear. So, that's the whole process of bringing that all together. Our heat treat process takes that internal temperature up to around 1600 degrees. So those molecules attach. But once they're in that heat treating process at 1600 degrees, it then goes through a process of quenching it or bringing it down at the right process. This is done through a molten salt process. As we bring the temperature down, it brings that durability and toughness and resistant to wear in our lawnmower blades.
Now, is there something about how many times a blade could be heat treated? Is that a thing, or just a kind of a one-time process?
It's a one process situation. Once it goes from press over to milling, where it takes the shotgun cutting edge on it, then it goes through the heat treat process, which is pretty much before it goes into the painting process and the actual leveling of the blade. That is the last process, and it is very controlled. We're ISO 9000 certified. That process is tough, and then we also pull blades off and we test them. We put them in through like like an artificial deck, I guess you can say. We ram a piece of steel in there to see if that blade will bend. We want it to break, we want it to bend, and the abilities there protect the consumer that's using this blade.
Yeah, and you would hope that would be a test that the landscaper probably never come to the peak of that test. So that's actually a pretty good thing that you guys do that there. Now, Rotary themselves, obviously, you guys do manufacture quite a blade. Do you guys manufacture blades just for yourself or OEMs? Is there anything you can speak to on that?
We do manufacture blades for OEMs, but here lately, we want to take care of our servicing dealers.
Yeah.
That's who made us who we are. We have capacity and we have some openings. We will and we have manufactured blades for OEMs, and yes, that is correct.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Now, obviously, you're more on the distributor side or the manufacturing side. I think one of the things that people like to hear, how many people actually make blades in the U.S.? There's like a couple companies, everything, right?
Yeah, that number seems to be constantly changing. At the current point right now, there are 4 blade manufacturers in the U.S. we are aware of. And of course, there's some blade manufacturing facilities located over in Europe. And of course, it's been picking up over in China as well. That we're aware of, there's 4 here in the U.S.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, we see a lot of different blades, and you go, okay, well, there's really only a couple in the whole world that do this. But obviously, everyone's got their own specs and what they're looking for in the mower blades, So the Copperhead blades themselves, though, carbon-based steel, you said?
Yeah, our steel is what we call a 10B38 steel.
Okay.
That steel is manufactured here in the USA. We found that it's durable steel, it's wear resistant. The alloys used in the applications to allow us to press and then heat treat it to the molecular structure that we need to. It's also used for automotive industry. Agriculture utilizes that same steel that we're using. So we found it to be the best, and it's a high stress type steel that works best for our industry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've always had good luck with them, so I really can't complain there. And I think a lot of our landscapers are kind of really starting to catch back on to the rotary blades. Even though you guys have been around for a while, Oregon for a while, I think with their Gator blade kind of took some of the market, but it seems like Rotary is really starting to come back on that in the last probably 5-6 years. Now, you might not be so versed in this, but maybe you are. Different blades for different regions. Guys in Florida obviously cutting different types of grass. It's a little sandier than us up in the New England region. Any ideas, thoughts on what blades you would prefer in different regions?
Yeah, and it's also a customer-based recommendation. How they like blades too is the big part. But mulchi blades usually excel in the moist, thick grass areas. The clippings are recycled. And then, of course, we have the low lift blades, which are best for dry, flat surfaces, regions that have very light grass or sparse grass. And then the high lift blades is great for wet, tall grass, and uneven or hilly terrain, as we call it. And then, of course, our Copperhead blades provide excellent mulching in heavy grass. And, of course, you have standard blades that serve as the general all-around option for those that not quite sure what they want to utilize. That will kind of work in all those conditions. But basically, your region, you're very much true to your question is, region and the type of grass that you use plays a different role in type of blade that you utilize.
Yeah, we see that quite a bit. Obviously, we're talking to a lot of guys around the country, so the guys in the South will usually use like a low sail blade. Up in New England, we're bagging every cut pretty much at this point in the season. So we're using a high lift blade. And the guys in the middle, like a mid lift.
Right. We've actually during drought times, we actually came out with a flat blade that actually just cutting edge and the blade is actually flat. So there's not any airlift or anything. It just keeps that dust component down in dry conditions. Of course, like Ed, sand is the number one eater that just loves to eat blades.
Yeah, we're always amazed when you see a nice thick blade and how whittled it gets down on the wings because of the sand just blasting that. That's strange. Well, I guess, I want to open up to a little bit, as a little general discussion, let the guys know, who Rotary is and I guess why they should be getting Rotary parts. If anything you want to add regarding, Rotary and what they offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Rotary is a family-owned company. We're not owned by a stock company. We have 3 owners, Ed and his 2 sisters. We actually have, the family actually works in the business. We've got the 3rd generation that's actually working here now. It is great. We've been in business since 1957. Ed's dad and his uncle, Duke Harvey, started selling lawnmower parts out of the back of the station wagon. So that takes you back to the times where, the typical road salesman brought the products out of the back of the station wagon.
Yeah.
We've got 5 distribution centers throughout the United States. We like that philosophy, so we can provide about 80% of the United States with next day service. We also have a distribution center and a manufacturing facility over in Europe. Being close to the port where we are, we manufacture lawnmower blades for Europe as well. And you talk about the different types of blades that we have here in the U.S. Well, theirs is more of a noise reduction type blade. So you want to look at a European blade, it's pretty strange.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we have over 10,000 parts and accessories. Not only are we a distributor, we are a manufacturer. Like you said in our discussion, we manufacture lawnmower blades, we manufacture monofilament trimmer line, and we also manufacture air filters for the outdoor power equipment industry at our facility in Reidsville, Georgia, which is our county seat, which is about 15 miles, a little bit north of here. So, when you're dealing with a family company that cares about their customers, cares about the dealers, most of the dealerships are family owned. So, we have that same concept. We don't have to go through 15 doors to get an answer. Nelson's lived in the corner and he's got open door policies. Great company to work for, and we're very proud. We've grown and we keep on growing and adding more additional parts to our product line to keep those dealers happy.
Yeah, it's great to hear, it's such a family tradition. I think, most of the dealership base can agree with that. That's how it was built. And, we certainly are the same way here. Our 2 owners are literally the next door over from me. So yeah, you need an answer, you can get an answer, Now, one of the things we do sell quite a bit is your Vortex line. It's been coming on pretty good. We talked a little bit about when you guys were here. Any stuff with the Vortex line you want to talk about?
Sure. It's interesting concept. Not, I don't know how big the industry is, but the Vortex line is something we utilize, and it has that twist in it. It was funny. We purchased Desert Extrude several years ago, which was the manufacturer of the Vortex line. I asked him, I said, how in the world did you come up with this concept? And he said, if you remember back in the day when car antennas were just sticking up and they'd pop up out of your car, or they'd be a mast hanging out of your car. And when that antenna would be driving down the road, you'd see that thing just swaying back and forth with the wind. Well, then later on, they put that little wrap around that antenna, that little cord around it, and the antenna didn't sway anymore. So it was more aerodynamic. So that's the same concept that we utilize with our Vortex line. It's got a twist in it. It allows for a cleaner, flatter cut. It's also very strong tensile strength, and the flexibility is there, and its impact resistance, and it's got great wear performance. And you can go out there and you can look at the YouTube discussions about it, but there's a lot of them out there who really speak highly about our Vortex line. And we've done some tests. We've actually went to a wheat field here in town and tested our trimmer line against our competitors, and we're very pleased with the results that came back from that test that we did of test plot.
Now, and this is another product that's made here right in the U.S.
That's right. That's made right here in Glenville, Georgia, and then we have another manufacturing facility in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. And we've sold a pile of this stuff, and I'll tell you, guys love it. It seems to hold up well, and you're exactly right. It has a nice flat cut to it, so you don't have to have a high RPM on the trimmer and still maintain the quality of the cut. Yeah, we sell a ton of it. We have a lot of guys, landscapers who love it. Anything new coming out, Rotary, or anything? I know it's sometimes you can talk about stuff, sometimes you can't. I don't know if there's anything.
Well, we're pretty open. We have a Facebook page, of course, and anybody wants to look up Rotary Corporation, you're certainly welcome to go look at our Facebook page. But we are expanding another 30,000 square feet on our blade manufacturing facility. That should be up and running by, it looks like October right now. So there again, we are a manufacturer of lawnmower blades made in the USA, and we're going to stand behind that with the increased capacity that we're going to be able to supply and take care of our customers out there that need lawnmower blades. That's why we're moving in that direction. It's USA made.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's going on right now, Ed.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Well, we'll wrap this up. Definitely follow Rotary on any of the social media channels. Thank you, Chris, for talking with us today. If you guys have any questions, certainly DM us with questions. We can always forward them to Chris. If you have any questions regarding Rotary, Rotary blades, Rotary products, certainly get a hold of us and forward on the questions. Well, thank you, Chris, and we'll talk to you a little bit later.
All right, Ed, thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
All right.